All right, Nick, what else you got for us?
All eyes were on the Steelers quarterbacks in week one of OTAs. Obviously, Justin Fields and Russell Wilson in their first stints as Pittsburgh Steelers quarterbacks. But Brad Gagnon of Bleacher Report listed both players as quarterbacks in make or break seasons, despite a 10-year age gap. Both of them, to him, are in a season that they need to really show something.
Yeah. So, Steven, I'm going to ask the question. Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, 10-year age gap. Super Bowl winning quarterback, 9-time Pro Bowler, guy who's 10-28 as a starter, who's got a bigger make or break season for the Pittsburgh Steelers in their quarterback room?
Yeah, I think this is a tough question, actually, but I kind of think I lean more towards Russell Wilson. I know he's got the pedigree. I know that he's been there and done that in the NFL, but I mean, if he's not very good this year, if he gets benched for Justin Fields, does he get a starting job anywhere else? I don't think so. And, you know, in terms of guys who need to, quote unquote, need to prove something, I don't think Russell Wilson is really up there necessarily. I think it's just more about like he's got a nice career together. Like he is. I don't think he's got to prove anything to anyone at this point. I'm sure he wants to, and I'm sure, he's really motivated to have a great season. But as far as I think it's more about make or break as far as if he wants to keep playing in this league beyond this year as a starter. So I think that's where I'd say that Wilson has a little bit more pressure on him. I think Fields is still, I mean, I know he's getting older. I think he's got to be 25 or going to turn 26 this. Yeah, I think he's going to turn 26 this season, maybe. I think Fields is still viewed as pretty young, kind of relative, just kind of in the minds of everyone who watches the NFL, just because he's been kind of hidden on the Bears. I know he started for 3 seasons, but, been kind of up and down. You can argue that he wasn't put in the best situations all the time. So I think people view the shelf life of Justin Fields as much longer than maybe than you would view another 25-year-old quarterback or something like that. So I think Fields is still going to get chances, even if he doesn't play this season or even if he doesn't play particularly well this season. I think he's got a longer runway towards the end of his career than Russell Wilson does, given that 10-year age gap.
Yeah, so I don't know if I agree about the Russ, but I agree about the premise of this, of how I don't think it's a make or break year really for Justin Fields. I think it's if he gets the starting job, it's a make or break year. This is you got to prove yourself before you become a lifelong backup in the NFL. I think that's where he is. But I don't know that him not starting affects anything. I think him not starting might help things. Like I think him sitting on the bench behind Russell Wilson for a year, for one, allows the Steelers to look at it and just say, all right, cool. Like we don't know what we have in Justin, but we're excited to see what we have in Justin. And also a bunch of other teams, if you are a team that needs a quarterback in a year and you watch the Pittsburgh Steelers play well this season, even if Russ is not, or even if Justin is not on the field, you're going to look at Justin Fields as like the Mitch Trubisky of 3 years ago. You're going to, it's a backup quarterback that is on a good team and learned from a really good quarterback and had a really good offensive system. Maybe he learned enough to be a starting quarterback. Maybe he gets another opportunity. I think that's the magic of sitting in the NFL is if your name is big enough, if your upside is big enough, then you most likely get an opportunity somewhere to do something else and get another shot. And I think Justin Fields could be in that same boat if he doesn't play this year. If he does play this year, I think the make or break, I want to say is bigger, but I get where you're coming from with the Russ thing, because I think this is do or die for Russ's career. But at the same time, do or die after 9 Pro Bowls and a Super Bowl championship. And, things didn't work out in Denver. Maybe things didn't work out in Pittsburgh, but it's not like you're not going down as a great. People are, in 10 years from now, people aren't going to remember that you played for the Pittsburgh Steelers or that you played for the Denver Broncos. They're only going to remember that you played for the Seattle Seahawks and you were great during your time there. So I think longevity-wise, it has less of an impact. Right now, I think it could be a career ender. Like it could be Russ is no longer a guy that people are even going to sign because at this point, whatever. Like he might turn into a Joe Flacco, but that's about it. Whereas in Justin, I think if he starts, is like may never get a starting job again if he's not good. But that being said, he's got to be good enough to get the starting job. So, I think the starting line might be a little bit higher.
Right, and I think that's why I assume that this is less of make or break for Justin, because I don't see him starting more than 3 games at the most. Like, I think there could be an injury to Russ, but like, unless Russ gives up this job, I don't think Justin's going to get a start this year. And I maybe have a higher outlook on Russ than other people do, but I think it's also, worst case scenario for both guys, it's selling potential and selling the future versus selling the past, which Russ is getting a lot further away from the past. And I think that's the only reason why, you talk make or break is in terms of, can these guys continue what they're doing over the next couple of years? I think that's where Russ kind of falls out of it for me, although you articulated it perfectly. Like, make or break for a guy who already has a Super Bowl ring and has had all the success that Russ has. I think he'll still sleep pretty well at night. I don't think he's gonna be concerned if, in the grand scheme of things, if this year goes sideways.
Yeah, no chance. You know what I mean? He's going to crawl into his bed next to his superstar wife and his beautiful house, one of 3 that he currently owns that's worth $1 billion with a bunch of kids. I think he's going to be okay. I think he's going to be totally fine. And things will be good. But I agree with you. I think that I don't think Justin is the starter in Pittsburgh this year. I think that could change come training camp, but where we sit today, I'm not going to jump the gun and say that he is the starter.